Yeah.
David Cutcliffe is running out of magic. After leading Duke to 6 bowl games in 7 years, from 2012 to 2018, the Blue Devils are just 7-16 in the last 2 years. And 2021 is looking like it's going to be another rough season. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to talk some Duke football, ready to predict Duke's record for this upcoming college football season. As always, guys, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our predictions from now until the beginning of the college football season. Also, make sure to check out everything down in the description below, including our brand new expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. And we are now offering up our NFL expert picks. I can promise you do not want to miss out on any of that. So make sure to go give it a look right now over on thegridironexpert.com. Link down in the description. So let's talk about Duke, guys. Let's talk about Duke. David Cutcliffe is a coach I admire greatly. He has done phenomenal things over the course of his career, has coached up some phenomenal quarterbacks in the course of his career. And, that's a major reason why 2020 was such a disappointment. After Duke landed Chase Brice, the transfer quarterback from Clemson, many thought that Cutcliffe was going to work his magic again and Duke was going to return to the postseason after just missing out in 2019. But that was not the case. Brice led an offense that committed 39 turnovers in 11 games. 39 turnovers in 11 games. One of the worst offenses in the country, one of the sloppiest offenses in the country, and many are beginning to wonder, has Cutcliffe lost his touch? We're going to find out now in 2021 because 5 starters are back offensively and Chase Brice is gone. Brice transferred out to Appalachian State, which means that Gunnar Holmberg is going to be the starter for the Blue Devils. Gunnar Holmberg will be the starter for Duke. The encouraging thing is that he does return 3 of his top 4 pass catchers, has built chemistry, but returns that experience, led by Jake Bobo. Mateo Durant leads the ground game, 817 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. We just know that Duke has to improve on the turnovers, cutting down on those, and improve on their scoring. Only 24.8 points per game. But you can't help but wonder if that number is going to stay about the same, if not get worse, with a brand new quarterback under center. Defensively, Duke needs some major help too. 5 starters back on that side of the ball from a unit that allowed 38.1 points per game and 213.2 rushing yards per game. Both of those, the worst marks in the ACC. If you're looking for any strength and any silver lining on Duke's defense, it's their linebacking core, led by Shaka Hayward, their leading tackler from last year. The problem is they finished the season very poorly. They allowed 56 points in 3 of their final 4 games. In the one game they didn't, they allowed 48 and a 48-0 shutout loss against Miami. Duke needs help on both sides of the ball, and I don't know if they're going to get it in 2021. But let's take a look at their schedule. Blue Devils open up the year on Friday night at Charlotte. Now, one of Duke's 2 wins last year was against Charlotte. They beat the 49ers 53-19. And obviously with this game being on the road and excitement being high for everybody with the start of the season, this is not a shoe-in victory for Duke. It's one of those Power 5 versus Group of 5 matchups everybody writes off and gives credit to the Power 5 team. That's not the case here. The 49ers return Chris Reynolds, a dynamic dual-threat quarterback. But the downside for Charlotte is the fact that, like Duke, they returned 5 starters defensively, and they allowed 214 rushing yards per game. You might see a lot of scoring in this game, guys. But I think Duke can pound the rock with Mateo Durant, take a little bit of weight off of Gunnar Holmberg in his first big start, first year as starter for the Blue Devils. And I do believe Duke goes on the road and maybe narrowly, but narrowly regardless, gets a win over Charlotte. 1-0 for the Blue Devils. Chalk up a win against North Carolina A&T. Again, no guarantee. No guarantee with a FBS over FCS team, but I believe with a win under their belt, a little bit of confidence, they take care of NC A&T. They then play Northwestern at home. And I love these out-of-conference matchups, especially among Power 5 programs. Northwestern's a team that surprised everybody last year, won the Big Ten West, hung with Ohio State in that Big Ten championship game. And while the Wildcats probably will not repeat as West champions, considering how much they lost, they have one of the best coaches on their sideline in Pat Fitzgerald, one of the best coaches in the country. They also have a transfer quarterback too, Ryan Helinski in at quarterback, transferred in from South Carolina. Many think they could be one of the better transfer quarterbacks that Northwestern has landed in recent memory. The defense allowed just 15.9 points per game for Northwestern last year. That was good enough for 5th in the country. And they also only allowed 195.3 passing yards per game. Look, Duke's not going to be able to win this game solely on the ground. Gunnar Holmberg's going to have to find a way to exploit this Northwestern secondary, find some success through the air. I don't know if they're going to have what it takes to do that. With Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern's ready for every single opponent. Doesn't mean they always win, but they're always ready for them. And the Wildcats will come on the road and win this game over Duke. Duke rounds out the month of September with another intriguing out-of-conference matchup. They play Kansas. I love this matchup, guys. I love they play Northwestern. I love that they're playing Kansas. It'll be exciting. But you look at Kansas, guys, they're a bit of a dumpster fire too. Lance Leipold in as their brand new head coach after that whole Les Miles fiasco over in Lawrence. So they've got a brand new head coach, and now he's bringing in a bunch of his old players from Buffalo. You can't help but wonder, are they going to be ready by week 4? Are they going to be good to go? Kansas basically right now has no talent, no system in place. They allowed 236.2 rushing yards per game last year. They allowed 46 points per game last year. They have no true quarterback right now. Kansas is in a state of disarray, and Leipold's going to have his work cut out for him in year 1. You can't expect great success in year 1 for the Jayhawks. Duke wins this game over Kansas, and they might win this game relatively comfortably. So they're 3-1. At 3-1, it's a quick, fast start for David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils, and they're halfway now to bowl eligibility. They win 3 conference games, they're in. And maybe Cutcliffe still has a little magic left in it. They open up conference play at North Carolina. Chalk it up as a loss. I don't mean to be so harsh. I don't mean to be so quick. But you look at UNC, guys. Duke lost to them 56-24 last year. Sam Howell is back after throwing for over 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns last year. 8 starters are back on defense. The game's in Chapel Hill, and yes, I know the distance is not that great, but still, North Carolina should win this game comfortably. They won, by 32 last year? Expected to be relatively similar in 2021. Duke then comes back home, takes on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech won 3 games last year. One of those 3 was against Duke, and it was in blowout fashion, 56-33. Georgia Tech is improving a lot, guys. They're going to improve on their competitiveness. All their losses last year were by double digits. I don't expect that again in 2021. They're going to improve there. They're improving on their defense, and they're certainly improving on offense with a young quarterback in Jeff Sims and a young stud running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. Now look at the numbers, guys. Georgia Tech averaged 190.8 rushing yards per game last year. They've got a dual threat quarterback and a do-it-all running back that's dangerous out of the backfield as a runner and a pass catcher. Duke had the worst rushing defense in the ACC last year. They might be hosting this game, but Georgia Tech is going to get the win. They beat them by 23 last year. They can do it again. Duke then plays Virginia. You have the worst rushing defense in the ACC in Duke facing off against the worst passing defense in the ACC in Virginia, of course, based on last year's numbers. Virginia beat Duke 38-20 last year, and that was early on in the year when Virginia was god-awful. Virginia was a bad team last year. Started 1-4, finished 4-1. Bad team at the start, strong team at the finish. This is a Virginia team that under Bronco Mendenhall should bounce back. Brennan Armstrong returns as quarterback, should be able to exploit this Duke secondary, and while Virginia's passing defense was horrible, their rushing defense only allowed a little over 130 rushing yards per game. A lot of Duke's success this year, especially offensively, relies on Gunnar Holmberg and how well he plays under center. Chase Brice did not play well under center. If Holmberg is relatively similar to that, go ahead and chalk up most of these as losses. And I think Virginia's secondary improves enough that they were able to slow down this passing attack, if there even is one for Duke, and Virginia gets the win, especially at home. Duke then gets a bye week, and you hate to see bye weeks come so late. They're going to play, 7-8 games before they get the bye? You hate to see them coming so late. But middle of the season now for Duke, They then travel to Wake Forest. And I look at this game against Wake Forest, guys. Duke's not getting anything, getting it any easier for them. Wake Forest returns everybody offensively. Sam Hartman, Jakari Roberson, one of the best wide receivers in the country. 8 starters are back on defense. Sure, you got a week of rest, but you're going on the road to face the Demon Deacons. Dave Clawson is continuously one of the most underrated coaches within this conference. And I just don't see any way, despite the week of rest, that Duke goes into Winston-Salem and pulls off this upset over Wake Forest. I don't see it happening. They drop this game to the Demon Deacons. And again, a lot of this relies on how poorly Duke's defense is. They then get Pittsburgh at home in the final month of the year. Pittsburgh has a 5-year starter in Kenny Pickett. It's very rare that we see that now in college football, but Kenny Pickett returns. Vincent Davis returns after rushing for over 600 yards last year and 247 yards in his final game last year against Georgia Tech. I say that because if Duke's defense hasn't improved, especially the rushing defense, hasn't improved drastically by this point, Vincent Davis could go off against Duke. Went off against Georgia Tech. Well, his Georgia Tech this year could be Duke. Got to watch out for that. Jordan Addison returns as one of the best young wide receivers in the conference, and Pittsburgh's defense is always one of the best, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Duke may get to host the Panthers, and yes, they usually play the Panthers close, but I just don't see them being able to pull off this upset, especially with the Pittsburgh team that typically finishes the year strong under Pat Narduzzi in the month of November. They then travel to Virginia Tech. Last year, Duke hung with the Hokies. Don't let the score fool you. It was 38-31 in favor of Virginia Tech in 2020. Well, that was mostly because Virginia Tech screwed up a lot on themselves. Virginia Tech was beating themselves. They woke up, and they were able to come back and beat the Blue Devils. A couple of years ago, Duke beat Virginia Tech 45-10 in Blacksburg. Do you think that's going to happen this year after losing, 5 straight games? No, it's not. Virginia Tech's defense is too good. 8 returning starters, 6 starters back on offense. Braxton Burmeister is going to figure out his groove. He's the only quarterback really that Virginia Tech has. If he goes down, they're going to be in trouble. We're not banking on that. I'm banking on him getting better week in and week out. And Duke right now, knowing they have to win out, might give it their all against the Hokies, but they're not going to have enough. They fall, and with that, we know they cannot go bowling. They close out the year with home games against Louisville and Miami. David Cutcliffe is known for breeding quarterbacks, so you would expect Duke to be more of a pass-heavy team most years. Problem with that is Louisville had the number 1 passing defense in the ACC last year. Number 1 passing defense in the ACC last year. Meaning that if Duke wants to win this game, they might have to solely do it on the ground with a guy like Mateo Durant. I just don't see that being a possibility either. Louisville's defense is remaining strong, and their offense, similar to Braxton Burmeister like we just mentioned, will get better week in and week out. They were struggling last year, which was odd for a Scott Satterfield-led team. I don't expect that to be the case in 2021. Louisville gets this win. They need every win they can get to get back to the postseason. Duke finishes the year against Miami, and remember, like we said, they allowed 56 points in 3 of the final 4 games last year. The one game they didn't was a 48-0 loss to these Hurricanes. And this Miami team has the potential to be better than they were in 2020. Everybody is back on offense. 9 starters are back on defense. De'Aaron King, Cameron Harris, 4 of their top 5 pass catchers. They are up there as the top 3 best teams in the conference, maybe behind just Clemson and North Carolina. And if you think Duke's going to beat Miami at home, it's not going to happen. You're sadly mistaken, especially when they only have 3 wins. They're 3-8 at this point, nothing to play for, while Miami at this point will have everything to play for. You could expect a similar result to what we saw in 2020. So having said all of that, guys, I know it seems rather harsh. I know we somewhat breezed through them, but what can you say? Duke right now does not have the talent. They do not have the stability to really compete against many of these teams in the ACC. We have the Blue Devils going 3-9. There's a good chance they could lose a game in Charlotte. Don't overlook that game against Kansas either. Would not be surprised to see the Jayhawks somehow come on the road, excited under new management, and pull off a win. It looks to be a very tough year for David Cutcliffe. He certainly has the work cut out for him, not just with the schedule, tough road game at North Carolina, Virginia, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, and of course having to play Miami, but also with the talent that he's been given. Right now, it's just not there. he's going to have to work and use a lot of his magic to salvage this year. And right now, we just don't see it. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Hit that notification button if you haven't already. Also, make sure to check out everything down in the description below, including our brand new expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. I promise you do not want to miss out on those. The link for that is down in the description below. Some of the best spread picks for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. I promise you will not regret it. Go give it a look. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.